Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start the show, you may know an old friend of the program is Lisa Clark. She's a teacher at Crockett High and former executive director of the Crockett Area Chamber of Commerce, good friend of ours. And we were, of course, sad to hear recently, for the second time in 3 years, she came off her horse. Got a good knock on the noggin. I think she messed up her wrist a little bit in the fall, and we wanted to check in with her and kind of see how she's doing, just because she's such a loved and well-known member of our little community here. And a couple days ago, I was able to get a video link with her. Let's see what she had to say. Well, hey, Lisa, good morning. It's so nice to see you. So I guess the biggest question is, tell us, how are you doing? Okay, well, what's the word on when you're going to be out of there and back to normal? And since that interview, we've seen that Miss Clark is now back on her feet and doing what she does best. Well, happy Sunday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our weekly podcast here, Houston County News. I'm Messenger reporter Greg Ritchie. It's so nice to have you along with us this week. And as always, joining us, Kendall Hickson. Kendall, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Been a busy week. We've had a lot going on.
Yes.
And coming up on this week's show, we've got a lot going on. First of all, our special guest this week, Dr. John McCall. And we're going to talk about some of the groundwater issues going on in our county. Big meeting this week and this last week, and a big meeting coming up next week. So I want to talk to him about that. Also, our senior spotlight, a couple of very kind young ladies from Kennard schools. I think you're going to enjoy a little interview with them. They're part of the culinary program out there, and we caught up with them this past week doing some cooking for the teachers. And, of course, we're going to have all the information about all the events that took place this week. And, young lady, I understand we talked last week with your mom, Laura Hickson, of an upcoming meeting to form a Turning Point USA chapter in Houston County.
Yes.
Of which Kendall is the official president. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you'll have a nice story about that, probably in today's newspaper. And next week on the pod, we'll save that for next week on the podcast after Thanksgiving. Were you able to get out and see any of the events this week? The lighting the Christmas tree or the parade or anything? Or?
Yes, I saw both of them actually. It was
really
super fun.
It is, isn't it? It kind of does get, even though it's, it's still like 80 degrees outside, it still kind of gets in the mood, doesn't it?
For sure.
But hey, as we always do, let's start off the show with Miss Kendall Hickson. A bit of news. Kendall.
It has been a busy week in Houston County, officially kicked off its holiday with the Christmas season through downtown Crockett. Wednesday saw the Downtown Crockett Association kicked off the festivities with their annual lighting ceremony in the Crockett Square.
And especially the fact that the reason for the season has been honored here tonight. Thank everyone for that. Happy Thanksgiving, first of all. And in the spirit of, while we're here to kick off Christmas in Crockett, Merry Christmas, everyone.
As we bring this beautiful Christmas lighting ceremony to a close, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Your presence and your spirit have truly illuminated our beloved city of Crockett. Christmas is a season of love, peace, and joy, a time when we are reminded of the greatest gift ever given to us, the gift given by God our Father, the gift of his Son, Jesus Christ. So as the lights shine brightly across the city, let them remind us of the light that each of us bring to our community.
Well, and then, of course, Thursday night, we had one of my personal favorite events. It was the annual Christmas parade sponsored by the Houston County Career Women, and they do such a good job. There's so many different floats that come in that, and every year people seem to do better and better with it. But let's have a look at that and some of the great floats we had in this year's parade. Houston County News, a weekly podcast program broadcast each Sunday by the Messenger newspaper. The program is a mix of news and interviews with highlights on our local schools, government, community leaders, and local events. The show promotes Houston County and tourism. We have now received hot tax funding from the county to support the show, and a unanimous vote by the county commissioners. Available each week for free on the Messenger website, Facebook, and YouTube. Houston County News draws between 25 and 50% of residents of Houston County and is growing to areas beyond. We're proud to speak each week with elected and government leaders, local pastors, and always with our local students front and center as contributors. Hosted by Messenger reporter Greg Ritchie, Houston County News is the first and only video news program in our area, and an amazing place to attract new customers and support the community by sponsoring the show. There are many ways to advertise with us, from a fully produced video commercial, a simple version of your business and promotions, and sponsorship of sections or live mentions. Let us help you grow your business and be part of this growing and exciting new platform. Houston County News, where Houston County comes together.
Greg, I heard you were at the Kennard schools and this week to see the kids cook up their meals for their 50 teachers.
They've got such a cool culinary program out there, and every Thanksgiving, the kids cook that's massive, 50 teachers.
Yeah.
And all the trimmings and all the fixings. Next week on our podcast, we're going to talk to Miss Amy Gladden, the teacher out there, and some of the kids. But this week, we picked out the two seniors in the bunch to do our little senior spotlight. Let's meet these two young ladies and have a look. Senior year. Tell me about your senior year.
It's been really good. It's been fun. It's been kind of busy with my online college classes.
Right.
But it's good because it keeps me motivated and productive and excited for real college, I guess.
How long have you been going to Kennard schools?
Ever since I've been in 5th grade.
So, good while now.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to miss most about Kennard when you go off to the big college?
I think I'm gonna miss my friends, my teachers, just a really good environment.
And have you decided what you're going to do when high school's done?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go to SFA, and then I want to get a math degree to be a math teacher.
You're kidding. You like math.
I love math.
And really, you want to be a math teacher. So,
Yes, sir.
surrounded by kids all day long, you're like, I want more of that.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. Riley, tell me about your senior year.
It's been fun. It's been very busy, like she said, with college classes and just thinking about what I'm doing next year and having to plan all of that and get all that ready. But it's been really fun.
It's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a shame. At 17, 18, they expect you to decide what you want to do your whole life. What are your plans after school?
I also want to go to SFA, but definitely not math. I want to go for speech pathology and get my master's in that.
Well, how long have you been going to Kennard schools?
Since 4th grade.
4th grade.
Yes, sir.
So again, a while. Do you think you're going to miss this tight-knit group here? Or do you think it's going to be nice to kind of have a few secrets that nobody knows, you know?
Honestly, I've grown up around small schools, and so I'm honestly going to miss this a lot. Like, having to, know that, if somebody knows, everybody knows, And sometimes it will be nice not to have that, but I am going to miss that, and knowing everybody.
And tell me about culinary school. How's that been for you?
It's been really fun. Honestly, this is the class I look forward to come to every day, because I know that we get to go cook something, and Miss Gladden's really nice and everything, and we just get to have fun in here.
What about you, Skylar? What do you think's been the most important thing you've learned this year in this little class?
Well, it's really fun, and it's just, I learned how to, I guess, I don't know, how to cook better. I don't know anything specific, but it is really fun, though. I learned a lot of little things, like little tips. Like last year, one tip I learned that I still use is Miss Gladden taught us, to crumple up the parchment paper because it stays, on the pan better. And that's been really helpful, so that's...
Do you enjoy cooking at home?
I don't really cook too much at home, but I do. I enjoy baking more than cooking, so
Right.
sometimes I'll bake little things.
Yeah.
But my mom does most of the cooking.
Yeah. What about you, Riley? Have you found that you've done things at home that you learned here, or?
I definitely do. I love baking. I like making chocolate chip cookies and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I'll make my pasta, if my mom's busy, I'll be like, I got dinner, it's okay.
Oh.
Or I used to cook a certain night every week. I haven't done that in a minute. But I do like cooking and baking a lot.
And have either of you ever driven your families crazy by going, no, that's not the way we learned how to do it. No, here's the right way to do it. Probably a little bit, maybe. No.
Surprisingly, no.
No. My last question for each of you are, how is today going? Are we looking forward to feeding all the teachers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a busy day, but I think they're really going to enjoy it, though.
Well, most of the kids I've talked to today have been freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it been for y'all to kind of have to bring them up and get them
I
integrated?
think it's nice because I can think back to whenever I was younger and the seniors were having to help me, and so I get to help them to learn things like I did. So it's fun to see as they learn and as they grow in there.
What else are you involved in, Kennard?
I do cheer. We're in student council. I'm class president, stuff like that.
And you?
Student council, beta club, and then I participate in UIL spelling. We go to state in that every year, so I don't do sports. That's mainly what I focus on, so that's my sport, I guess.
Well, that's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this week our special guest on our Houston County News podcast is Dr. John McCall. Dr. McCall, thanks for coming by this morning.
Well, Richie, my pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people know you from a lot of the work you've done locally, in your practice, on the state level. You've done so much. But before we get to the main topic, which I really think should be the groundwater, there's a couple things I don't know a whole lot about. There's a little building over there that I know used to house our rival newspaper. And it says Stealth Vision on it. What can you tell us about that? I know the basics, but are there any details you can reveal at long last?
Well, yeah, I'd be happy to. It's probably anybody that knows me. It's no doubt that I'm a big hunter, worldwide hunter. Been on 40 worldwide safaris and used every caliber you can think of. If you've seen a picture of any animal, it's pretty much in my house. And I was never really happy. Then I got into long range shooting, and I was never really happy with every scope that I came along. Well, my background is I knew from an early age that I was wanted to go into optometry like my dad. So my Bachelor of Science from University of Houston is in geometrical and physiological optics, because optometry is pretty much the optics of the eye. Then I went to optometry school, and then later on went on and became a surgeon. And now I do a lot of glaucoma surgery. And again, all of that is through operating microscopes, the best lenses in the world. Right. And that's sort of what my background is. So I thought, why wouldn't somebody like myself bring those two worlds together? And so that's what I did. I said, I'm going to develop a set of optics that is equal to what we use in operating microscopes. And I patented a lens. It's called the SLT lens. It's the McCall SLT lens, and selective laser trabeculoplasty, and it what it does is it bends light into where we want it to treat for glaucoma to allow the fluid to get out a little faster. It's a lens you put on the eye. And the mirror that we use...
I figured it was going to be the capacity thing. I knew it was going to be that.
The mirror we use is called a total reflective ocular surface, and it's the most reflective surface in the world, but it's never been used in optics before. Wow. So I brought that mirrored system over. I thought I'd do this in about 20, 30 minutes. It took me 3 years. But my optics are all patented optics, and when we put a whole rifle system together, we guarantee a 6-inch grouping at 1,200 yards.
Good heavens, really?
It's the most accurate shooting system ever developed.
Uncle Sam may be calling for some.
We are talking to the military.
I would think so. Now, you talk about all of the different animals you have in your home, but it's funny because that also led you recently to become a film producer and a big-time movie star, didn't it?
Well, I kind of backed into that, Richie. Yes, the Beast of Trinity, Texas, and because Terry Weaver, very, very talented guy, and has become a good friend of mine, he wrote the script, he stars in it, he's the director of it, and he wrote in that this beast was killing people. It's, by the way, it was launched yesterday on Amazon Prime.
I heard that.
So you can watch this now on Amazon Prime. But he wrote in there the sheriff was in a quandary of what type of an animal could actually be killing these people. So he wanted to go to a big game hunter. And he started asking people around Trinity, does anybody have a big game hunting lodge? And everybody said, well, there's a doctor in Crockett, and he's got one. So that's how we got together. Ironically, he asked me to do a podcast with him. I did a podcast with him, and he said, Doc, you're pretty comfortable behind a microphone, aren't you? And I said, well, I'm a former mayor of Crockett. I've served in a lot of, I'm fine with that. So he said, I don't know why that I would be paying somebody to play you. Would you mind playing this part in the movie? And I said, let me think about it. Okay.
You play you so well.
Yeah. So, they were. I got the big accolades of how well I was doing. I said, okay, before you get too excited, I'm playing me in my house. How hard can this be?
You're playing Julius Caesar might be more of a challenge.
Right.
How cool is that though for our area? Gosh, I wish there would be more producers come through here. It's such a beautiful area and so unique. Beyond this particular movie as a movie, it's just that sort of breaking that ice, and maybe we'll get more people to come out here and do that kind of thing.
I think we may, because Terry Weaver, I do believe he's going to have some success with this film, and he's already written a script for his second film, and he loves Crockett so much he's thinking about basing it out of Crockett. Well, so that would be so cool.
He is really talented. We had a long talk about some things, and not just on the record, just different ideas, and very unique and talented young man. Now, we got to get to the serious stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, anybody that's read the newspaper, we've been covering this groundwater thing for, I guess, months now since it got started. We take a little credit. We broke the news about Mr. Foster on the groundwater board, and apparently he had some ties to this drilling company before he let on that he had some ties. Now, I know you have some property up in the north part of the county, which I think you told the Austin committee members borders one of these well sites.
Yeah, yes, sir. I share a common fence line with him, so that's how close I am.
Now, obviously, we're up against a billionaire and a company with billionaire backers, and they're going to have the best lawyers and the best lobbyists and the best of everything. And I know Cody Harris told me that this gentleman, this Kyle Bass, is already appealing, apparently, the Neches and Trinity Valley decision to not move forward at this time and all the rest. So I didn't know this until you came in this morning. How do you go in the span of a number of years from being head of a group to stop a groundwater district in Houston County to now heading a group that wants to find a way to make it happen?
That is an interesting paradigm, because 15 years ago, my father and I were basically the head of the I'm Against It club, and I was very vocal, so I chaired the committee to stop a groundwater district. And I will tell you that that's the best thing that could have happened, because had we have formed this district 15 years ago, it wouldn't have been strong enough to stop a Kyle Bass, because you don't know what you don't know. And we didn't know that back then. Now we do. Right. So now, we've the rule of capture was ratified by the Texas Supreme Court in 1904. Right. I think we were all of us landowners were very happy with that until Kyle Bass came along. And then he wants to use that rule of capture to monetize our aquifer for himself. That's wherein the problem came. We looked at, in this committee, we looked at a lot of different things. The commissioners appointed 5 people to be on that, and they just said, you guys get together, we trust you to explore the facts of where we need to go from here, and if you'll just report back. So we have no power other than try to dive into the facts. Right. And it was Amber Stelly, who is general manager of Consolidated Water, yes. Randy Parton, a very talented attorney, knows a lot about groundwater. Barrett Reese, geologist, has really helped us, and Jim Gaines. And I had not met Jim before this time, but very astute, very good at diving into detail. And so our group of 5 got together in the first meeting. They elected me chair, and so I look at Amber as more of my co-chair. She was vice chair because she's secretary treasurer, and we've been in contact a lot. And the 5 of us came from 5 different directions, all of us saying, do we really need this? Because we were all 5 against it 15 years ago. Wow. And now we looked at where we were. We looked at what Cody Harris had done. We reviewed everything. And during this period of time, Cody Harris had the bill, I believe it was House Bill 7, that he passed, and that was going to create a moratorium that until you do some hydrogeology studies, at least 2 of them, right, that there would be no drilling permits given. And
don't get me started on my theories of what happened there, but it died in the Senate, didn't it?
It died in the Senate.
Very quickly.
And
mysteriously.
At that point in time, had that have passed, we were looking at joining the Nature's Trinity Valley Conservation Water District for protection.
Right.
But then it failed, so we thought, why join? If they can't stop it, us joining them's not going to stop it. Right. So that was the point that we sort of migrated back to
more local sort of.
We need our own district.
Yeah. Now, I think people, now that we see the threat, the noose hangs over us. We understand now we have to do something. But what do you say to the good old boy that's going, I don't want them to put a meter on my well? Because that was a fear 15 years ago a lot of people had, and that's probably still a fear of some people.
Great question, and that's what we need. The answer to that is we will not put a meter on your well. You will not be charged for what you've been using free water up to now. You're going to keep on using free water unless you're at a level of a consolidated, right, or maybe a prison. They use some high volume pumps. We're talking 300 horsepower and up,
right,
to pull water out. There will be a very minimal production.
So your ranchers, your farmers,
agriculturally, we're not going to do that, and that is the other reason to protect the people of Houston County. Is one of the reasons we did not join the Nature's Trinity Groundwater District, because we got word that Smith County, Tyler, Texas, does not have a groundwater district. So they are not uniquely situated over the sweet part of the aquifer like Houston County is. Right. However, they were looking to do whatever Houston County did. So look at this scenario. There's 3 counties up there. We join them. Now we become 4 counties, so we have 2 out of 8 votes. Now Smith County joins them. You're 5 counties. Now we're 2 out of 10 votes. Sure. And they only have the ability to charge production fee. So if that hypothetical
Right.
5-county group needed more money, who are they going to get it from? Crockett, Texas.
That's right.
And they could add meters to your well, and we were not going to let that happen.
And you weren't able to outvote it at that point.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to.
Right. Well, yeah. So I think when the right of capture law came about, obviously didn't have the kind of drilling capacity and pumping capacity and all the rest that they have now. I understand the right of capture, and technically I agree with it. It makes sense to me. My ground, by God, my water. But I think the problem is when you have the size straws they have these days. And it's not like the aquifer knows where Anderson County ends and Houston County begins. How hard of a fight is this going to be? This is our way of life around here. This isn't, taking a hot shower every morning. There are people that will literally lose generations worth of hard work if we don't fix this.
Richie, you're exactly right. Like, for example, if they're looking at pulling 10 billion gallons a year out of the Redtown LLC ranch, which is right next to me, that is going to create a zone of depression. I have 6 wells on my place. I utilize 4 of them, primarily one for my ranch house, the rest just for seasonal, for duck ponds, things like that. All that will drop the aquifer, so my wells will be non-existent. How far will that reach out?
Right.
A long ways. It'll go quite a ways. So
you're going to have to now dig deeper down in to get anything.
You'll have to dig deeper, and drilling is not like it was back in the 70s. And it's going to cost a lot to do that, and some people, quite frankly, will not be able to afford it. So, what do we do to fight that? Well, Cody Harris is, the Texas Water Association gave him Rainmaker of the Year, and I'm telling you, he is the Rainmaker.
He's been a fighter, hasn't he?
He has been a fighter.
Did you see what Kyle Bass said about him, by the way, on Twitter or something like that? He said this small town lawmaker thinks he can. Boy, talk about David and Goliath.
Oh, he did. He was very disparaging against Cody Harris.
He was.
And I think a good lesson there is you probably shouldn't drink and tweet, because he immediately pulled that back down, but somebody had already got the screenshot of that. It went all over Texas.
We had it in the paper, and it was gone within minutes. Oh yeah.
It just shows you that Kyle Bass does not care about the aquifer, does not care about our way of life. He cares about monetizing that water. And I'm his neighbor. And I have known everybody that's ever owned the Redtown Ranch, and I have been extremely good friends with every one of them. They've been great neighbor. He never studied the great neighbor policy, or he would have talked to me. And I've never met him person to person.
That big meeting they had in Jacksonville when this all kind of first got started, it was crazy. I don't know if you were there or not, but it was packed. You could barely get in or out. And he came. He sat on the front row and listened to resident after resident not saying the nicest things about him. And at the time I thought, well, maybe he's an okay guy. In other words, I thought he was just some elusive billionaire that would kind of helicopter in and out, but he sat there through it with his little cowboy boots on, and I thought, well, maybe this is somebody that can be reasoned with. But everything he's done since then has been, this is a return on investment. What's my EBITDA? How many billion gallons for? And I honestly believe, Dr. McCall, and I have no reason to, this is speculation, but I believe the billions that they put in that application were based on their return of investment numbers, much more than based on any hydrological studies, if you know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're trying to say, and I do agree with you. And if you go back to Cody Harris, I believe it was July 15th in Austin, before the special session started, he called, you had to be invited to testify. I testified at that, yes. And it was a nearly 11-hour meeting.
I watched all 11 hours, I know.
And 9.5 of that, if you remember, was everybody just hammering on Kyle Bass, saying how hard it's going to be. And he and McCarthy, his attorney, sat there and looked right through it. If somebody had hammered on me for 10 hours, I'd have a hard time looking in the mirror saying, maybe I am a bad guy.
Me too.
And you know what? And then when he got up to speak, that fazed him not one iota.
Nothing.
And it was, as a matter of fact, his arrogance resonated when he just said, there's basically none of you know as much about water as I do.
The guys, and they may watch this podcast, bless them, I do like them. I felt so bad for the Neches and Trinity Valley guys, the attorney and the president of the board. I don't think they were ready for prime time in Austin. I don't think they were ready to fill the county courthouse or whatever we were there in Jacksonville, that big building we were in. I don't think they were ready for this. And I don't think their bylaws and policies, I just don't think they saw this coming. No fault to them. I don't know if any of us saw this coming. We should have, I think, look, in hindsight. So how does Houston County, what kind of timeline, what actual teeth will it have for this Kyle Bass or a future Kyle Bass? How is this going to work?
Well, our committee and our recommendation to the county was to have a Houston County groundwater district, not to join somebody else, because nobody's going to take care of Houston County like Houston County is. Nobody's going to protect against you putting that meter on your well but us.
That's right.
If we have somebody else that can outvote us, that is a possibility, and we're not going to let that happen. We've always enjoyed a great aquifer. The Carrizo is great water, and I don't know, we may have 1,000 wells in this county, and we're not going to affect any of those wells. So nothing's going to affect you. So we have to have money. Without a production fee, there's going to have to be some kind of revenue, because the worst thing you can do is have a groundwater district with zero money, because you're going to get zero done.
Right.
And to even get one, you have to propose a budget. So what we're up against is either put that meter on your well or come up with another way of doing this. And there's a very small sliver. If you look at the groundwater districts in Texas, if you look at a pie-shaped chart, most of it is by production, and those struggle. There's a few that are by tax base only, and what those do is they tax you too much. And there's a small sliver that we're going to try to fit into that is taxing authority and production base. We raise the production so high that unless you're a consolidated or a prison or a new manufacturer comes in here, like a database company, it's not just exporting water. Database companies use tons and tons of water, and that
Keep those servers cool and all that kind of stuff. Sure.
And that could have an effect on the aquifer. So we're trying to project that. We went by law, what is the lowest tax rate we could probably go with, and that's what we went with, which is not very much. It would be like on $1 million property per year, it would be less than $200.
Oh.
And so if you have $500,000, we're talking less than $100. So we're not talking very much money at all. And it doesn't hardly give us enough to get, but it does. It gives us enough to get in there,
get an attorney going, and sort of
be able to and have a full-time person, have 5 people from this county that really care about this county, to run this county, to understand, run the groundwater district of this county, so they know what it is. So that's the route that we think we should go. Okay. I think this will overwhelmingly pass, because I think everybody has been, thank the paper and the Grapeland Messenger for giving us as much visibility as you have, because we're on the front page of the paper for, paper after paper after paper. So unless you were living under a rock, you understand that what's under us, which is the richest aquifer in the state of Texas, is in danger.
Yeah, and we love this place, and we weren't going to sit by and let some Dallas billionaire take it. No way. Right, and that's where we are right now. Now, there was, you probably know this, but just the day before yesterday, the Natchez Trinity Groundwater District revoked the permits they had previously given, got a judge to sign an injunction so they could not be given back until there was a hydrogeology study on the health of the aquifer. Kyle Bass went to try to overturn that, and the judge agreed with the groundwater district and disagreed with him. So that stay is still in place. Still in pause.
So this could change tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a chess game. But I will say this: Kyle Bass is. He's probably a wonderful person. I have never met him. I'm sure he's very successful. He's very smart. Sure. And I would love to meet him at some point in time. However, he's letting what could monetize him get in the way of the health of the aquifer and what's good for Houston County and what's good for East Texas. And I do think this, that as smart as he is, as much money as he's got, he underestimated the power of East Texas. When we all come together and we say enough is enough, it's a powerful statement, and that's what we're finding out.
Yeah, he thought he would have a bunch of, sort of hillbillies complaining, and that would be it. And, well, God bless you for doing that. I think you're right. I think a lot of this at this point is going to depend on Kyle Bass in a way, because either it's going to be bigger his pride, and no, I don't care how much money I lose, I'm going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting, or at some point say, this is a PR nightmare. These people are not going to give up. They're going to keep batting me down, and at some point, the money I put into it, I'm just putting good money after bad. You're such a busy guy. Thank you for doing this morning.
Well, it's
I
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
It's
It's
my
good to.
pleasure.
I mean, we've met and stuff. We never really got to sit down and kind of chat like this. So, thank you very much, and thank you again for the work you're doing around here. I know, serving on unpaid, sometimes unknown, sometimes ungrateful committees can be a chore, but. Golly, the work y'all are doing, it's going to make the difference around here. I really believe that.
Well, Richie, I'm very invested in Crockett. One of my favorite sayings, I was born in Crockett. I'm a former mayor of Crockett. I'm more Crockett than Davy. He just stopped on the way to the Alamo. So I love his town. I love his community, and that's why I do what I do.
Ah, that's awesome. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. Same to you.
The world of today can be cruel and lonely, and especially for starving artists such as podcast hosts. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee a week, your business can become a Houston County News sponsor. You can support local journalism and get your message out to thousands of viewers. Will you find it in your heart to help? I'm sorry, I just can't go on.